Perspectives on ICT and learning and teaching English in the 21st century. I presented this talk at the FLL 9 International Conference, Universitas Kristen Satyawacana Salatiga. The overview of my talk is going to be a few things. One is the fact that the number of teachers using computer and language learning or COL has increased. Then many articles has been written about the role of the technology in education, and also the potential of the internet for education use has not been fully explored. There are still many areas to be explored. And yet it is obvious that we have entered a new information age in which the link between technology and the teaching have started or have been established. The question with the situation is, do we have to change the way we teach our material? Do we have to change? If yes, in what way should we change? Um, let's have a look at what's happening out there. I mean, outside our teaching. Newspaper, this is in the past. People still buy newspapers like this, but the younger generation, they prefer to use their laptop, their mobile phone to get the news. Very rarely that I will see my students carrying newspapers around. City stores, for instance, it's hardly available at the moment. Well, there is still some, but I don't know how long it will survive, because it's replaced by this, that they can download it in their gadget, they can bring it anywhere they want. Similarly, with books, there are many books, publishers are still there, bookshops still available, and people still buy books, our students still buy books. But then, the behavior of carrying books is changing. They carry the digital mostly. I mean, not going to campus, but campus they might or they have to bring books. But then when they travel around, they carry the text inside their gadget. In the past, we have encyclopedia like this in our study room. Then we have this inside our laptop when it's connected to the internet, inside our gadget, inside our smartphone. In the past, we have this big camera, big handy cams. Then if you want to share what's in it, then there are long process to be uploaded and so on and so on. But then now we have smaller gadget, very easy to upload, very easy to get connected, very easy to share with our friend. Then this is the way we share our pictures. This is the way we share our videos through social media. People also change their behavior right now when people order a ticket, booking a hotel room. They prefer to go to the website, to go online. So the world is changing, out there is changing. Big questions, do we have to change? Letters has been replaced by email. Social media is everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, you name it, Path and other things. People talk more using social media right now, not texting like the old SMS, for instance. Another behavior change to younger generation or people, say in their 30s, and my age maybe sometime when you go to a coffee shop, you are not looking for a coffee, you're looking for Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. Number two, you are looking for plugs. Is there any plugs that you can plug your computer? Then you can have a meeting there. People start studying inside the coffee shop, especially young generation. They're doing their tasks not in their study room or in the library any longer. They move into the coffee shop in a more relaxed environment. In another word, we are hyper connected. We are connected with our friend. We are connected with our books. We are connected with library. We are connected with many things out there through the internet. So again, we have to change. We live in a global world, but we still work in local university. We live in a digital world. We live in analog university. I have to put my signature when I just enter the office to make sure that, okay, I got the signature there, or maybe fingerprint, but not in my university. The student, they have to sign their attendance when they attend a class, for instance. New changes that just recently, I'm going to use a sample of a global into a local environment, for instance, Uber. Uber Taxi is a global company operating in almost every country, even in Bandung and in Jakarta as well. Now I'm going to give you a sample my what happened with Uber with myself. Once I ordered Uber, then the driver asked me to cancel that. Then I got an email. Your pickup request was cancelled. Then I was charged 30,000 rupiah for cancellation. But it's also said, if you think it was a mistake, please contact us and we'll make it right. So the email to me is in English. The setting, I'm in Bandung. Yeah, in Indonesia. They email me not in Bahasa Indonesia but in English. Then I reply that in English. Then I say, I think it is a mistake. The driver asked me to cancel because of the traffic jam. Then it's not me who canceled that, but the suggestion come from the driver. So I got a reply nicely, explaining things in English, very good English. So this is an example of global company operating in Indonesia. The communication is in English. I don't know, maybe I can communicate in Bahasa Indonesia. I have to try it another time. But again, the way we teach, the way we have to change. Now I'm going to talk a little about a quick history of call in general. So in the past, call was divided into three: behaviorist call, communicative call, and integrative call. When the behaviorist methodology popular, then software like this, Hot Potatoes for instance, become available over the internet. You can download it for free. Then you can generate exercise. It's mainly used for drilling. So the students working, or you can say communicating or doing something with the computer. So everything is there. Multiple choice, yes, no questions. So every drilling's replaced by a computer. In other words, the boring stuff inside the class, they put it into the computer, because the computer, they can drill without any problem. They can do it repeatedly, on and on and on, not like human. But then when communicative comes, again, the computers, the internet try to accommodate that, and then they start building up blogs, web quests, another thing happens. So in that time, the focus is not the students communicating with the machine, but it's more the student communicating with other students or around the computer. What they did while working with the computer, they share and then they upload it. They work with a web quest with another group of students from another place. Um, then people start thinking, okay, because of the social media, because of the Facebook, then Edmodo, then YouTube, people sharing in the social media. So calls move to socio-cognitive view, emphasizing on the real language use in the meaningful, authentic context. So a lot of assignment that they have to upload it in YouTube and using Facebook, using Edmodo for real communication and so on and so on. So integrated call try to combine various skills. So listening together with the speaking or writing, then they have to speak. When they read something and then they have to write or speak, record it and then upload it in the website. So they try to integrate the technology more fully into the language teaching. The rapid changes of the ICT then, the social and cultural context of technology use expand, technology diversity, both in terms of devices and in terms of mode of expression and interaction, also expand. Then the goal, the content, the structure of call pedagogy also evolves. There are many areas to be explored. In this conference, then in the parallel session, I saw there are many topics that's going to be discussed. For instance, how to use a Screencast-O-Matic, how to use Zepson for video, make it interactive video combined with drilling and checking and so on. Somebody is going to talk about Edmodo, somebody is going to talk about Moodle and other things. Yeah, so enjoy the 2 days conference then. Back here, the social media is there, but then social learning is some learning is not taught. They just learn it automatically when they're interacting with other people socially. Then we should start thinking how to deal with this for teachers. The problem right now is not problem, but the states right now there is no clear articulated theory specific to technology use in language teaching. Not yet. The theory, the research still go on, and people start moving that and trying a lot of software and so on and so on. The problem at the moment that I see, too many of us concentrating on the E, not the learning, or call, starting concentrating on the C, computer, but not how the computer assists the language learning. They kind of neglected the learning. Now let's look at the digital native. They're born, they grew up, and they're familiar with this. They're familiar with YouTube, they're familiar with digital storytelling, they're familiar with blogging, then they record their own voice using Audacity and then upload it, and so on and so on. So they don't have any problem that much in relation to technology and internet. They have Twitter, they have Facebook for sure, and some refuse to use Facebook because they have a reason, but they are using other like Instagram or Path or other social media. They listen to internet radio, for instance, uh, TuneIn. They listen to real live streaming British English broadcasted from, say, London, Manchester, or they can learn Chinese listening radio streaming from Beijing or Hong Kong. And they can learn Spanish, they can learn Italian. So they listen real, authentic language use out there. A lot of my students, they go to TED because this is interesting, new, popular talk, scientific talk, talking about art, talking about what happening around the globe. So it's a lot of good material for teaching, but then Is it good for teaching? That's a question for us. But they do it anyway out there. So how can we design meaningful tasks by exploring this website, for instance? Another thing, what's available in a smartphone right now is assistant. So the kid or the generation that's familiar with Android, for example, they can download the assistant on their smartphone, so that they don't have to click here and click there. They start talking to their mobile. Set the alarm by saying, "Wake me up tomorrow at 7." Then the assistant will set it up for you. I want to send SMS. They say, "I want to send SMS." Then she will say, "To whom should I send it to?" So it's like conversation. You can ask the assistant as well, where is the nearest ATM? Where is the nearest bank? Where is the nearest petrol station? They will give you the answer with the map as well. So this assistant is very helpful. And also we can practice, or they can practice English speaking to the mobile phone. They can practice other languages. Most of the assistants, they will speak English, German, Italian, Chinese, but not Bahasa Indonesia yet. Yeah. Similarly with Siri, if you have iPhone or iPad. Yeah, ask a silly question. Are you married? And then you will got the answer. If you don't trust me, try it. You can crack a joke with them. Sorry, with it. Another change is publishing. So people can self-publish your own book for free. Yeah, it's a collection of poem, for example, for teenage. Then they can put a nice cover and then they try to sell it online. The global one is lulu.com, so they can start publishing their work. Yeah, if they want to get help with the cover and so on and so on, with a small fee, they can do it, or they can do it on their own. Again, my question is, do we have to change? If yes, how and when? And we need a lot of sharing. We need a lot of conferences like this that sharp focus on computer and technology and language learning. So I'd like to stress on the learning, not the tools, not the computer, not the internet, but on the learning. So technology and based language teaching is not a method. It should be integrated into various pedagogical approaches to reach the goal. The interaction of online and face-to-face, definitely that's different. We need more research on the area, and teachers also need to prepare new ways of structuring the task, how to give a task, how to exchange their work, how to mark the students, how to monitor interaction, how to evaluate student performance. So that's an area that we have to prepare, an area that we have to explore and share with others. My final thought about ICT. So digital literacy for my generation need to be trained, and some teachers need to be trained, but the younger generation, they are not need to be trained formally. They can learn it on their own. If we use software, then it's very difficult to put that or insert that into curriculum. So I'm thinking of, if you have a digital tools, then you have to go beyond curriculum. We have to go beyond cognitive. If cognitive can be given inside the class without technology or with minimum technology, then if you have a technology, you should go beyond cognitive, teaching them skills, teaching them life skill, teaching them how to communicate, communicating with real people, and so on and so on, not just the cognitive inside the classroom. So the use of ICT should be aimed at beyond curriculum, beyond cognitive, and beyond classroom world. Definitely, if we're going to put the ICT inside the classroom, actually it's abusing the power of the technology itself, on the power of the internet. Do we have to change? Have a nice conference, and we discuss that later on in the panel, what will happen and what we can see. And I hope that we have this kind of gathering more often. Thank you very much, and this is my contacts. Thank you.